What is going on, guys? How y'all doing on this Saturday afternoon? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we have a very, very busy day for you people here on the channel of the Man. As, of course, we have two live reviews to catch up with NXT and SmackDown. Too busy dealing with a steak yesterday to review SmackDown before NXT for SmackDown, and other business I want to take care of after SmackDown. So I'm here right now to talk about NXT. And of course, SmackDown will follow after I take a very brief lunch break. Yes, I know I say brief anymore, and yet again, I end up being hours or next day. But it's going to happen today. Getting both of those reviews done. Reviewing, maybe I'll review Full Gear tonight. Not sure. We'll have to wait and see, of course, how I feel after the show. I'm having friends over tonight to watch the show. So we'll go from there. And also, after watching this week's episode of NXT, it seems pretty official to me we're not doing War Games this year. So, with that being said, I am going to just do my Survivor Series card predictions probably tomorrow as well. So, that's my plan for the weekend. Still trying to do NXT UK also. I don't want to watch any more right now because I'm at the October 22nd edition or whichever edition it was. The edition that had Walter and Ilya Dragunov, because I want to do live reactions to that match. I want to do live reactions to it because I hear it was a very good match, so we'll take care of that. But enough rambling, let's get into this review and talk about NXT. Once again, taking place from the Capitol Wrestling Center down in Florida. Again, NXT just continues to be, a decent, solid show. That's where basically it is right now. Again, it's not horrible, it's just not as good as it used to be. That's all I can keep saying about it. It's like the same thing I'm here saying every single week. There's nothing else to really, rant about or anything. Just as, tell you guys what happened, and we go from there. Is it horrible? No. But is it the greatest in the world? Not as good as it used to be, but it is what it is. They're doing the best they can with what they got. So let's roll into this and talk about the show. Of course, this was the Halloween Havoc Fallout show. We opened up with a match between Ember Moon and Dakota Kai. Obviously, since Ember Moon's came back here, Dakota Kai has immediately targeted her, saying like, "Hey, things aren't the same as they were around here, honey, as they were before." They had this match. I thought it was a pretty good match. Probably my favorite match of the night, I gotta say. Again, Ember Moon just looks fabulous in the ring since she has returned to NXT. I definitely can, feel the energy for her as I did before she went up to the main roster, and they did absolutely nothing with her up there. Again, she came back after a 14-month absence of that Achilles injury, returns to where she rightfully gets booked right in NXT, and this new, character with her that's, again, very intriguing. Dakota Kai, of course, who has obviously gone through a huge, huge change in character over the past year or so since she had turned heel on Tegan Nox. Still think they should have given them more of the tag titles. I still think, I'm sorry, again, it's worked out for Dakota Kai before Tegan got her third ACL injury, which is a damn shame. Again, I really felt that, they should have, in some way or form, done a tag, had given them a brief run with the women's tag titles. Like, if there was a team in NXT that felt deserved them, it's definitely them. And the story was there right there. But, even though, again, I just don't understand, why they gotta keep doing, this, heel has to have a muscle. Even though Raquel Gonzalez isn't that bad. Again, I was very impressed with her match with Rhea Ripley at Halloween Havoc. I thought they both had a very good match. They're both very good big woman wrestlers. But does it really have to be the same thing all the time? But whatever, again, it was still a good match. Dakota Kai won thanks to distraction from Raquel Gonzalez. Kind of like how they told a story of like, hey, it's true, Ember, things are not the same around here as they once was. Which keeps me intrigued, because I'm still continuing to say this, somebody's turning heel in the women's division. Again, I'm continuing to say this as well, the women's division is what has my attention the most with NXT right now. Especially with bringing back Toni Storm and Ember Moon. Again, one of those two is going to turn heel. And I kept thinking for a while it was going to be Toni Storm because it was very obvious to me they were going to turn her heel right before the pandemic happened. But now that they did this here, kind of like having Ember already lose, kind of a good wake-up call there. I that was a very intriguing loss for Ember Moon. Because I'm like, okay, what's that going to do to her now? Like, I can trust that NXT is actually going to do something with this loss. It's not like, oh, she came back, she lost again. It's like, oh, she's buried again. No, 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 no. They actually could do some with the story. Again, this could lead to maybe Ember Moon being the one to turn heel. Again, one of them's turning heel. Toni Storm or Ember Moon, one of the two. We could still be seeing a triple threat match in some form of capacity, though, whatever the next takeover is. Not War Games Survivor Series weekend, which is fine. We've just had TakeOver 31 last month, and they're starting to not space out the takeovers as good as they were before, so who knows. But yeah, so a pretty good match to open up the show, probably the best match of the night. Backstage, we got Cameron Grimes, yeehaw, in the locker room. Obviously, still freaked out from that Halloween haunted house match, whatever he had last week. He despises the haunted house of terror, and tonight he's gonna cave in Kushida. And then when the referee comes up behind to tell him that his match is next, he gets spooked out. He's like, ah! Oh no, jeez. And then we have Shotzi Blackheart get interviewed. Puts over her hand-picked opponent for tonight, Toni Storm. It's a huge test for her, which is why she chose the Mae Young Classic winner. Welcome to the ball pit, Toni, as she called her. So, sorry, my parents are outside doing yard work. So that'd be an intriguing match, sure. We have Kushida and Cameron Grimes. Good match. Now continuing just playing into the mind of Cameron Grimes obviously is kind of like really in a daze, like really freaked out. Try to really play off the aftermath of that haunted house of terror match. The one put over Dexter Lumis and his creepiness. Also have a long-term effect on Cameron Grimes. And Kushida, again, I will give the credit to him, his more aggressive, persona the last few weeks since his feud with Velveteen Dream happened, and his really good physical match with Velveteen Dream. Again, he literally looked like he was trying to break off every part of Velveteen Dream's body in that match. He's been looking good. The match ends whenever, the match ends though with the referee who was a zombie in the haunted house match came out and obviously freaked out Cameron Grimes on the distraction. Cameron Grimes got put into like a hoverboard lock or some type of submission, and he taps out and it caused distraction. So unfortunately, Cameron Grimes is stuck with PTSD from that, but the storytelling I thought was good. So good match there. Continue to put over Kushida, give him some wins, giving his momentum going as well. Maybe we can see a match with him. Well, not yet, but honestly, even though I'm still not liking his booking, I'd see a match with him and Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. I think it'd be a good match. I think it would. So I'm hoping we do see that match at some point. Maybe not next TakeOver, the following TakeOver. Again, give Johnny an actual lengthy run with the championship now that he has it. Maybe we'll restore some momentum to him again, because again, I'm just not feeling him as the heel. So yeah, we got that. After the match, we have an interview with Toni Storm. She's flattered that Shotzi picked her, but she's going to use Blackheart to show off the new Toni Storm, and as a stepping stone to a title shot. Speaking of the Women's Championship, we have Io Shirai, the Women's Champion herself, getting a video package who claims she has one challenge left in NXT. And she's not afraid of a nightmare, as she calls out Rhea Ripley. Io and Rhea one-on-one. We've seen her have a couple, one or two non-title matches, especially around the time whenever she was going to be they had the triple threat match with Charlotte Flair for NXT TakeOver in Your House. We kind of had them see. I think we saw them have a one-on-one match there. But as far as the champion title weight on the line, Io had a very great run so far as the champion. Even though I still think Rhea's lost a lot of momentum since WrestleMania, still gonna be a good match. So, of course, we will hear back from Rhea later, but we'll see where that goes. My favorite team, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, taking on Everrise again. And it's the same story, and it's looking more like I maybe just doing a turn alert for Killian Dane. It looks like Killian Dane is officially, in some ways is accepted, whatever, I'm with Drake Maverick, and I'm still whatever about this team, because I really don't give a damn. But the match ends because as the match is happening, we see an SUV pull up. And it's Pat McAfee and his crew of Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. They attack the cameraman, and then Lorcan, Burch, and Dunne do the physical work, while Pat McAfee, does the camera work, the handiwork, whatever we call it. So they get involved and they cause a no contest or a double disqualification, whatever, in this match with Killian Dane, Drake Maverick, and Everrise. And then they turn around, they're taking a selfie with the camera, and after break, we get this kind of... It was kind of long. I mean, I'll give it that. It was a little bit long. This promo of Pat McAfee talking trash about the Undisputed Era. He says, "We're not a bunch of scumbags. We're men of class, and it's only right that they pay tribute to the previous men who ran roughshod over NXT. They hung the Undisputed Era's banner in the rafters tonight to commemorate the run they end. And as they're about to hang it, but then they first are calling the rest of the NXT universe stupid people. And then Pete Dunne, who ties in his participation with Roderick Strong when he turned on him to join the Era. Roddy taught him to trust the ring people. And then Pat's like, well, that's us. Last week, he gave Kyle O'Reilly a taste of their own medicine, which I kind of like that storytelling there, getting full comeuppance on them by doing what they did with his chance to accomplish on his career. Even though once again, Pete Dunne has accomplished much more than nearly winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. For crying out loud, he was 685 days as United Kingdom champion. But I get the whole thing coming full story there. McAfee says the Era got greedy. Lorcan and Burch chime in to say that they were overlooked despite 30 combined years in the business, and that McAfee promised the Era will never touch their belts again. Undisputed reigned until they ran into one man, him, Pat McAfee himself. He took them down again. They lowered the rafters, but then McAfee was just like, our group is a democracy. Having a second thoughts about raising the banner, which they actually did. Raise it or throw it in the trash. And the vote goes to them, thrown in the trash. But instead, they pull out a trash can. They put the banner inside the trash can. Pete Dunne lights it with lighter fluid. And then he set it on fire in a trash can. Okay, not a bad touch. And of course we get all "you suck" chants and whatnot, and they make their way out back to their SUV, and then Killian Dane was out there to fight them, then they beat him down and they drove off. Okay, I mean, it's a random stable with four random guys thrown together, like we'd see from most stables. Meaning again, Lorcan and Burch given a new direction, fresh. And again, I've always put over Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch again as a very respected tag team in NXT. They're good. I just never really saw them being, that serious. But a solid team that's there to, look good themselves, but also help others look good as well, as I thought. That's what I thought of them. But now that they're given this opportunity in this heel stable, I'm cool with it. As long as they stay, they don't turn into, cowards, and they keep being, the hard-nosed brawlers they are. We get Pete Dunne coming full circle, to get his comeuppance on the Era. I get it. It's not the strongest thing for him. I feel like he could be on a much higher level, but I get it. Not opposed to it. And again, there's Pat McAfee, who, again, I still say it to me is super annoying. I don't like Pat McAfee, but I am at least, again, as I continue to say, able to respect that he can actually play the role right. Again, he's playing this role of this guy who thinks he can walk into wrestling and he could do it, and that he could do it just like everyone else. And again, the performance he had against Adam Cole, again, he can talk, he can actually wrestle, he has some abilities in the ring. I can't deny it. I can't say that it was back in July and August where I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they giving Pat McAfee a push in NXT? But again, he now has the credentials to back it up, so I am intrigued by this four-man stable. Again, with there not being announced a War Games for Survivor Series weekend, I'm assuming we're not doing War Games this year, unless we are at some point. But if we are doing a War Games match, it's probably going to be this Kings of NXT stable, as they're calling themselves, and the Undisputed Era. Which I'm fine with, because once again, War Games in NXT is pretty much Undisputed Era's match. Even though they're 1-2 inside the War Games match. Just saying. We'll make it 2-2 probably whenever they face this stable. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that was that pro. A little long, but it still got the job done. We have Johnny Gargano, the first ever two-time North American champion, at the dinner table. There are a lot of rumors about him now that are wrong, like that he hates wheels. He runs down his list of accolades, then gets a call from that weird Grim Reaper who ends up being sitting right next to him. And they're playing a board game, which Johnny wins, says next week he's going to break his curse of short title reigns. And he's going to defend the championship against a worthy opponent. It's probably going to be like some type of like a job or something like that. So, like, whatever. Like I said, again, like, you know, don't just keep... Again, just can we do something else with Johnny? Again, I just still... It's just a shame just how not much interesting he is. And just... I just can't take him seriously. I mean, am I glad they put the belt on him? Yes, he needed it, but... I don't know. Something's still missing. Something is still missing. And this whole ghost face stuff is turned into a little bit of a comedy act. To me, it's obviously Indy Hartwell. I think it's Indy Hartwell. Like, there's no... They already started a story with her helping the Garganos, giving them the TV and such. But, of course, it didn't succeed with Candice LeRae, even though Candice got her revenge on Shotzi, and they're starting a feud with them. Yeah, it's just Johnny. It's just like what he was and now what he's become just a few months, just throughout this whole year. I'm just like, sorry. So yeah, we have that segment. Then Toni Storm took on Shotzi Blackheart in a pretty good match. The match ends, though, when Toni wins off a distraction, and Shotzi was distracted by Candice appearing up on the Titantron with showing that Shotzi's tank is in the middle of a road. And then Storm rolls over behind. But afterwards, Candice is like, I promise I'll watch after your tank, but I'm not sure how much longer I can. Then she's hearing cars coming, and then here comes this big pickup truck, which was most likely driven by the Grim Reaper. So Candice gets in the truck, and then she tells Shotzi, this is what happens when you put your nose into other people's business. And she runs over Shotzi's tank, and Shotzi has this big meltdown. And then, you know, they back to a shot of Candice in the front seat, and then the Grim Reaper in the back. And then she tells Shotzi that they're even. And then Shotzi has a breakdown in the ring, and then Toni Storm tries to come for her and whatnot. Which apparently also in the notes here, it was told that I think the reason why they did this is because apparently the tank was her connection to a family member in the military overseas and whatnot. So obviously, kind of really trying to give Shotzi some more sympathy as a babyface. Which, fine. I know a lot of people still aren't really digging Shotzi because they've kind of... Again, Shotzi just kind of came out of nowhere, and they were already kind of making a big deal out of her. With her, you know, eliminating Shayna Baszler in that Women's Battle Royale. Her appearing like a week or so later in the Women's Royal Rumble. So I kind of get how some people think that Shotzi's kind of being shoved down our throats a little bit. I don't think she's really being shoved down our throats that much. I think she's had a very interesting run so far in NXT. So I kind of get a little more sympathy on her. I kind of get it. So we'll see where it goes. And it kind of helps keep Candice with a little bit more of a direction than her own husband, as I continue to say. So, yep, I would have loved to have seen, again, I felt Candice should have gotten a Women's Championship the first time around. This felt like something they should have done that after having Candice not win the first time. I mean, again, I didn't like how what they did at TakeOver 31. It was a good match, but with how, you know, Johnny Gargano trying to be the referee, getting all hokey and all that shit. But, you know, we'll see. So that happens, and then we then showed this brawl with Legado del Fantasma and Jake Atlas. They're continuing that feud. I guess now Jake Atlas is going to be the one to challenge for the title. I don't know. I really don't know. Again, the Cruiserweight Championship picture is just getting super weird now. I still felt they should have given it to Isaiah Swerve. Again, it's just in general, all these feuds are just dragging on more, and it's like, why are they continuing? Because, the same person keeps winning, and the other person on the other end is just not getting anything out of the losses. It's just like another few we'll talk about. SmackDown that abruptly came to an end last night, but, we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, so then we have another thing, a live thing of Thatch as Thatch Can. Timothy Thatcher is working with Akeem. Same thing happens. But then the guy from last week, AJ Gray, comes in during it and attacks Thatcher. So I guess we're going to do now Timothy Thatcher and this guy. I'm like, okay, whatever. Backstage, we see Xia Li. She reveals that the letters to Bo have been bringing her are from her family, but she won't review what they're about. Regal then brings her a new letter and tells Regal that she needs to face Raquel Gonzalez last because Raquel dishonored her. And he's like, okay, I'll make that happen. But I'm just like, didn't she just turn heel? Why are all these heels facing each other? Because that's why there's so many freaking heels right now. I don't get it. But then, anyways, afterwards, we have Rhea Ripley responding to EO. She basically says she accepts the championship to opportunity, and she's going to end the year like she started it as women's champion. And then we have our main event, Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream. Good match, but again, just how directionless both of these guys are, and just especially how much Velveteen Dream's cooled off this year. It was good, but it wasn't anything spectacular, and Tommaso Ciampa wins, and yep, that's how we go off the air. So yeah, solid episode of NXT. Robbie says Santos Escobar and Jake Atlas doing good things, some good lucha things. Yep. So as far as the polls for NXT, 3 votes. 2 people said A, 1 person said B. Nobody said anything lower. I gave it a B minus. A B minus for NXT again. He lost power during your Full Gear preview. I loved your hold the phone reaction to the Aaliyah Mysterio story. It was spot on, man. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this review of NXT again. I'll take a quick lunch break, come back here and do my SmackDown review. And again, tonight, depends on how late my friends stay, I may review Full Gear. If not, I'll review Full Gear tomorrow. And I'll also try to get my Survivor Series card predictions done tomorrow as well. Even though most of the matches are pretty much obvious and official. Whatever. So yeah, that's my thoughts on NXT, guys. B minus. What are your thoughts on NXT? Leave that in the comment section below. There's always a slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment my channel, follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. And with that, guys, I'll check it out. I'll see you later. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Peace out, everybody.